Now in this video, I'll be breaking down Mr. POV aka Daniel Dalen's 8-figure personal brand funnel. And exactly, I'll be exposing how did Daniel Dalen make $25 million from his personal brand without even selling anything in his videos. I'll be breaking down exactly how did he build an audience that not only likes, knows and trusts Daniels, but also deeply connects with Daniel and trusts him. And exactly how did Daniel Dalen deepen down the connection with his audience even more. And for the finale, how is Daniel Dalen converting all of those leads in cash that made it $25 million with his personal brand. So exactly what is he selling and how is he selling? So it's a pretty exciting and a pretty unique funnel breakdown. So let's get into it. Now, Daniel Dalen, Mr. POV. If you have seen in this kind of thumbnail style, the one that is a POV behind it, it was originally created by Daniel Dalen, the Mr. POV. Now, who is Daniel Dalen? For those of you guys who don't know who Daniel is, he is essentially a 27-year-old entrepreneur and he works in the e-com fulfillment. He's from the Netherlands. He speaks Chinese and he's the CEO of Ecom Flow. Now, just for background, Daniel grew up in the Netherlands but spent a lot of his time in China due to his dad's job. Now, Daniel Dalen was exposed to the world of business at a very young age due to his dad's business ventures in China. He actually started building websites around the age of 16, which helped him to bring in over 6 figures in his profits early on. So Daniel Dalen was already thinking about business because his dad was in the business venture really early on. Now, fast forward a decade and Daniel now is the CEO of his company Ecom Flow and is part of many other companies as well. Now, the main one being Ecom Flow, which if you don't know is essentially like a supply chain or an e-com fulfillment company based in China. And he's also the owner of his physical product brand called Lens, which is his eyewear brand. And he also holds a major stake in his friend's company, or kind of like a partner in his friend's company called Cinegram. Now let's break down Daniel Dalen's funnel. And like any other funnel out there, there are 3 main components: getting traffic in the funnel, generating warm leads, and converting those leads. So let's start off with getting traffic first of all. Now, Daniel Dalen's niche is mainly entrepreneurship and documentation. So Daniel Dalen's brand mainly revolves around these main 8 things. The first one being, obviously growing as a human being, as a businessman. The second one being, business. Third one being, signing contracts, since he's in the traditional, business supply chain. So signing contracts, signing deals, and growing as a businessman. The other one being, obviously a camera to document his journey. He follows the motto of building in public. So camera obviously makes sense for him. The other one, obviously being, money. The other one being, obviously fulfillment. So the e-com supply chain. The other one being his physical product brand, which is an eyewear company Lens. And the other one being traveling, since he likes to travel a lot because he's in the e-com, fulfillment chain. And this is what is mainly his brand revolves around. Now, Daniel Dalen mainly in his marketing are these 3 components. First one obviously being business, so showing what the business is and everything like that. Second one being partnership, so showing his partner, his friends, and his connection with other human beings, and basically just general friends and partnerships. And the third one being authenticity. Now this is a big one, and this is what Daniel Dalen and his brand lives by, which is being authentic and building in public, sharing every step, like sharing the whole process of the journey of building his companies. So authenticity, partnership, and business, and this is what his 3 marketing components revolve around. Now all of this narrows into a certain demographic slash ICP, which is ideal customer profile, like those who are interested in entrepreneurship and are looking to create something with other cool people. And this is what is mainly his brand narrows down in, and what his brand is narrowing like down the funnel to mainly attract these kind of people who are looking to build something cool with other people and who are in the entrepreneurship space. Now, in terms of the marketing platform that Daniel Dalen uses, the main one is being YouTube. Now, on YouTube, Daniel has many components. So many strategies that he's using, obviously his brand, which I'll break down, then the Mr. POV style, and then there's something that's very unique, which is the Shama NYC effect, which I'll break down, and which I think played a huge role in Daniel's blow up with his personal brand, which is like a very key component. So I'll break that down later. Let's first start off with Mr. Daniel Dalen's brand, So exactly what is his brand made of? Now, Daniel Dalen's brand is mainly made up of who he is and his personality and what makes him unique. So in terms of his, brand style, his fashion, his brand colors, everything like that, like mainly if you see his profile pictures on Instagram, YouTube, X, anything like that, it's mainly this, orange gradient profile picture, which is every out there, which is like his brand color. So if you see this, you'll probably associate this for Daniel Dalen. And then comes his fashion, his glasses. So he's always wearing his, physical product brand, his glasses. Obviously, as you can start over here, he's wearing his glasses. And then his fashion style also, like this beanie right over here, then the watch, basically the clothing style he uses really adds to Daniel Dalen's aesthetic and his brand. And then the other part of this component is also his location where he lives. He does mainly business. Like if you think about business, most people think about online business, traveling the world out there, Maldives, Miami, Dubai. That's what the traditional people think about. What he, instead, his location played a huge role in his brand. He lived in China. So he showed how what's it like, actually being a business owner in China, which was a really unique thing about his brand. Then he also has his motto that he lives by is called building in public. And that is what his brand revolves around. And the other thing, obviously, being, cameras. He likes to document his journey in a cinematic way. Most people, when they talk about documenting, they just document simply picking the camera, just recording some random clips. But he likes to document in a cinematic way and document his journey building in public in a cinematic way. He likes to take, weird, very wide angle shots, some unique shots that really makes his brand stand out and become more cinematic. So this is like the Daniel Dalen brand. Now let's talk about Mr. POV. So this thumbnail style and this style of videos have been, blowing up, in the past couple of months. And everyone's been trying to copy Daniel Dalen. Now the reason this worked was because that prior to this, the type of content that was mostly consumed on YouTube and that the whole entire business space and every single niche was creating was these highly produced videos in like a studio with like the perfect editing, the perfect retention techniques, every single thing like that, making yourself appear the best and the expert in the industry and then selling something at the end. Now, Daniel noticed something, the trust recession, which is a huge thing now. People have stopped, trusting people online, especially. And Daniel noticed that. He decided to take a bet and he decided to, don't create these, these highly professional studio videos. Instead, he decided to take a completely unique angle and start sharing authentic vlogs without selling anything to his audience. And and basically he put everything online. And guess what? It worked, and it worked extremely well. And the reason it worked is because people were in a trust recession. They couldn't trust anyone. Daniel found a unique angle, and he started, showing the real behind the scenes of actually running a business. And that really stood out, and that's why he blew up. Now, in terms of his videos, the thumbnails are all exactly the same. They're vlogs where he's documenting his life as a founder in different places of the world, mainly in like like in China, Hong Kong, sometimes in Dubai and these other countries, just mainly documenting his life. And the thumbnail is pretty consistent. And same with the title, they all have, POV in it, life as a 27-year-old founder, 26-year-old founder. So just pretty consistent thumbnails and pretty consistent, titles. And his vlogs are really cinematic and they're very authentic. They're showing, the what Daniel Dalen's brand stands for, mainly these three components that I've mentioned before. Partnership, business, authenticity. His all videos include those, and basically all of these factors which I mentioned before, which was, he shows his eyewear brands, he's wearing in his videos, traveling, he shows up behind the scenes of his business, is the business growing, doing the business, signing contracts and making a lot of money. So he shares like all of these things in his videos without ever selling anything to his audience, which the audience, since they always being sold to these highly produced videos, now they're watching Daniel Dalen's video and they're like, this guy's not selling anything. He's showing authentically what I want to see. I like seeing this kind of stuff. So they authentically, build trust with Daniel Dalen, and that's he got the tag of the most anti-guru out there. Now, in terms of his YouTube, he has 160,000 subscribers as of time I'm recording this video. It's probably more now. And Daniel Dalen mainly has two links in his YouTube bio, which is to his Instagram and to his X/Twitter account. Now let's talk about the Shaman NYC affair. This is something that that makes Daniel really unique. So there's this guy right there, Shama. He basically an American guy that speaks Chinese, and this is like rare to see. And what this does is that he creates these videos where he goes to like countries where people speak their native language, and he looks like a person, an American guy who probably doesn't know how to speak the language. So what he does, he goes there, he plays like a prank with them, and then he like speaks their language and gets their shocking reactions. And these kind of videos, again, like millions and millions of views, like 92 million views, 20 million views, 1.6 million views. everything like that. Like you see a white guy, you normally don't expect him to speak Chinese, obviously the native language of the country is basically yeah. Now this is what made Daniel really unique. Since he grew up in China, and he's a Dutch guy, you don't expect him to speak Chinese. If he's speaking Chinese, that really makes him stand out, and that adds to his personal brand and his unique identity, what makes him him. So this really kind of viral factor came in his videos, and that's what really also has a little part contribution into him blowing up and making who Daniel Dalen is and making his unique identity and his unique personal brand on YouTube. Now, Daniel Dalen's biggest video starts with his cinematic style and some Chinese speaking while ordering a coffee. His biggest video, 850K views, is like basically POV, a 26-year-old, entrepreneur doing business in China. Now, normally you don't expect that, 26-year-old entrepreneur doing business in China. That sounds intriguing, the POV style, and he's speaking Chinese in the thing, which goes to the Shaman NYC effect. So that's why this video really blew up. And then obviously you're seeing all of these factors that I mentioned earlier in his videos adding to his brand's identity and his personal brand's identity basically. Now this is mainly all it for YouTube and his YouTube bio. He has the two links which I mentioned earlier, Instagram and Twitter. Now let's break Instagram and Twitter down. So starting off with Instagram, he has over 160K followers on Instagram and 160K subscribers on YouTube. It's probably more now. And he has just one main link to DANIELDALEN.com on his Instagram bio and his Twitter bio. And on Twitter, he has only 32K followers, and he's pretty active on there. He's over 3,000 posts. And now first let's break down, obviously Instagram. So mainly Instagram is just his eyes is more just like life updates through photos. He shoots in like film for most of the photos. So going back to his brand aesthetic, he's not leaving his brand aesthetics anywhere. He's making sure his photos, match the aesthetics of his brand. And it's just more life updates, nothing really that crazy, like life update where he's at, everything like that. Not like some educational reels, anything like that, just life updates about his journey as an entrepreneur. Now, he recently, I think it was a while ago, like 1-2 months ago, he did a collab with Simon Squibb. If you don't know who he is, Simon Squibb is like the guy who goes around asking people what their dream is, everything like that. So just some collab videos right over here. Now, Daniel Dalen also has his two short clipping accounts. Now, this one, I think is the official account of his because it's followed by Daniel himself. This one isn't really followed by Daniel, so I'm not pretty sure if it's an official clip account for his page. But what these two clipping accounts do is that they take Daniel Dalen's vlogs clips and they basically put them in a cinematic style with some quote in the background, like right over here. You got lucky, the luck, which is of him working. You fell in love with the process, which is showing clips from his vlog of him in the process, everything like that. So what this does, it adds to Daniel Dalen's brand's identity, aesthetic, and he's not going to sell anything to his audience in his from his personal brand, even though he does it indirectly, which I'll show you exactly how he does it in the third part of this section, which is exactly how he's converting the leads. So stay tuned for that. But mainly it's just his IG life updates and some clipping pages, just trying to be exactly where his audience is. So like for short form videos, the content is duplicated across like both platforms. Even for like X, this is just the same content in a format different way. Basically wherever his audience is, I don't think his audience mainly is on TikTok. That's why he doesn't have TikTok right over there. But mainly his audience is on, like platforms like X, Instagram, and obviously YouTube since they're entrepreneurs. So he's everywhere where his audience is, and his brand is everywhere over there. Now, mainly for X, Twitter is mainly just used to showcase small updates on his businesses or views, opinions on the world, personal life, etc. This gives an open view to the raw realities of his life. Like right over here, he's trying to interact with his audience by asking them, which thumbnail should he use for his next video? So, just interactions, basically interactions with his audience. The next one, sharing quotes, motivational quotes to really push his audience. And then he's also, really authentic. Look right over here, he shared a post where he's basically, his mom shared some photos with him and he's breaking down and he's showing those parts also. Most people don't show this part. So, what this does is that it really shows the other side on the viewer that how authentic this guy is. He's showing every part of the journey. He's not just trying to sell anything, which deepens the connection of that his audience has with him. And then he also, just gives some updates on his businesses for like, Lens, when Lens is dropping, when Lens is having a drop, which is his eyewear brand. So just mainly life updates, business updates, and nothing really crazy. And main purpose of this whole entire marketing is to basically, which is basically to show his brand's identity, build his brand, and build authenticity, and just build an audience that likes, knows, and trusts Daniel and has a deep connection with Daniel. So that's exactly how Daniel Dalen is approaching when it comes to getting traffic and actually building an audience that likes, knows, and trusts Daniel Dalen. Now let's talk about generating warm leads, or should I say, where Daniel Dalen actually deepens the connection with his actual audience. Now in Daniel Dalen's bio for Instagram and X, he has this link to danieldalen.com, which is the only link he has in his bios, Now once you come over here, it says I build cool companies with cool people, and mainly has his social links. Now if you ignore those, he has mainly 5 main links, which are to his companies and basically some interesting places which I'll mention. Now the first one is Lens to his eyewear brand. Now you can purchase his eyewear brand whenever they're having a launch right over here. So that's the first thing. The second link is to his email list. Now his email list is pretty interesting because he basically does like future releases on Daniel and his products / freebies to generate more trust. This is what he probably does with his email list. It's not been very active, but it's mainly just to collect his audience details and just share like more in-depth stuff with them. Now the next link is to EconFlow, which is actually his main company, his main business, which is like the future of supply chain has arrived. Basically, that's just like a supply chain company and helping ecom founders with the supply chain from China and everything like that. Now the next link is join my free community. Now this is a big one, and I'll actually break this down later down in the video because it's a big one. I want to cover this in more in depth. But now let's move over to the playlist, which I think is very interesting. Like normally you don't see anyone having their Spotify playlist in their bio or in their website, everything like that, especially in their online business space. So this is something very interesting and a very smart move, which I'm going to be breaking down right now. Now Daniel Dalen has a playlist from his YouTube video. So whatever sounds you hear in his YouTube video, he adds them to basically his playlist. Now if people click on this playlist and actually start listening to music, once they actually listen to the music, they will think of Daniel Dalen. Oh, I listen to this music in Daniel Dalen's video, so they will think of him. Now what this does is this is adding to the Daniel Dalen aesthetic. What makes Daniel Dalen him? So there's this rule called the 7-11-4 rule. Essentially, if someone's gonna buy your product from you, they need to watch 7 of your content across 4 different touch points. I think 4 different locations and 11 touch points, something like that. That's what the rule says. And what this is doing is that they're seeing Daniel Dalen on YouTube, his aesthetic vlogs, cinematic vlogs, authentic vlogs. They go on Instagram, they see him. They go on Twitter, they see him, which is his written content. They go on emails, they see Daniel Dalen's thing. Now, when they're also hearing stuff, if they hear one of the musics inside Daniel Dalen's playlist, they're also thinking of Daniel Dalen, which really deepens the connection with his audience. So, which I believe that's why this is actually a pretty genius move by Daniel Dalen. Now let's talk about join my free community. So it's basically his WAP community. Now this community is just mainly a community where entrepreneurs can network, connect, and document their journey of building in public. And this is essentially what this community is. Now over 3,000 people have joined in. Now probably there are more people that have joined in now, but as of this time I'm recording this video, there are around 3,000 people in this community. Now before, this community used to be in WAP and had around 14,000 members. Now this community's main motto is building in public, and mainly this community was before hosted on School, and School is all about building online communities, making money, entrepreneurship, knowledge, and etc. Now the main ecosystem of this community is basically just network focused to build your network, make the boring stuff look cool, documenting your journey, diverse backgrounds and experiences that are inside this community, currently building a business, and brought together by personal branding and awarding engagement. So this is what this community is around. Now this community also has this classroom where it basically just has some courses, some tips ones, like building in public, tips and strategy coming soon, builder public members journey coming soon, and community calls, and follow the journey where he has some his team put out some basically some vlogs of his, and some episodes where they basically just sharing some tips, strategy, Q&A calls, something like that. And then he also has the community calls where he's just basically just doing open Q&A, just sharing the expertise, every single thing like that. And what this is doing is that it's deepening the connection with Daniel Dalen, since the content was the first part of the funnel. Now they're in his community where they get to be in meetings with Daniel Dalen, learn from his things, and get his question answered by his team, So it really deepens the connection even more. Now, Daniel Dalen is actually moving this community to WAP, which I think is a really smart move since WAP is like now like the future of digital products and every single thing like that, especially with Iman Gaji investing in WAP. So he's moving his community over to WAP now. Now, what I also want to mention that because of his community, Daniel Dalen also blew up. His community had a huge role on him blowing up because in his community, there's a motto that was pushed that building in public and actually start documenting your journey. And the thumbnail style that Daniel Dalen used, which is the POV style, that was really pushed out. So people that actually started documenting their journey, they used the POV style. And normally this POV style, if you watch any of Daniel Dalen's videos, you know that is Daniel Dalen's style. So if you see a thumbnail like the POV style, you would definitely think of Daniel Dalen first, even though the person in the video is someone different. So this, really helped him blow up. And because of his community, the getting the traffic part and building the connection with his audience, even became more deeper and more easier for him to do. So this is essentially, generating the warm leads pass. It's just building a deeper connection with them through communities, his playlist, and the following the 7-11-4 rule. So now let's talk about converting the leads. So exactly what is Daniel Dalen selling and how did he make 8 figures, $25 million to be exact, from his personal brand when he doesn't even sell anything in his videos? So mainly Daniel Dalen has, services and products and maybe a potential future high ticket product, which I'll break down later. Now, the first product that Daniel Dalen has is Lens, which is basically his eyewear brand, which you can, get his eyewear products, which is Lens. So now with Lens, what Daniel Dalen is doing to market and actually sell this product is that he is wearing Lens, his glasses, in all of his vlogs. So you can see him wearing these glasses in his vlogs and everything like that. And basically, if you see him wearing it and the aesthetic he's trying to, present in his videos, his fashion, everything like that, and people want to copy that. People want to be like Daniel Dalen. They like his aesthetic, they think he's cool, everything like that, and they want to associate himself with him. So his glasses are a part of his identity. So people want to be like that. So they will most likely go ahead and actually buy Daniel Dalen's glasses. And this is something that even Iman Gaji is doing for his glasses company called Hills, which was previously known as Gaji, is that in his vlog channels, he's always wearing the Gaji glasses. And what that does, people want to be like Iman. They want to copy his aesthetic, so they go end up buying his glasses. And then what Daniel Dalen also does is that in his videos, he's showing behind the scenes of him building his glasses company. Now he follows the motto of building in public, so he's actually following on that motto. So he's just showing behind the scenes of exactly how does he fulfill the orders, what the packaging looks like, how is like the glasses created, the design, so whole backend process. So that really shows the audience or that these glasses are high quality, therefore affordable price, and they fit in the Daniel Dalen aesthetic. They look premium with an affordable price also. So that's why people just end up buying the glasses because they trust Daniel Dalen. They want to be like his part of his aesthetic, everything like that. And then what he also does is a marketing technique which is called limited drops of the glasses, building scarcity and exclusivity. He does like limited drops of like 2,000 pairs and they all sell out because Daniel doesn't say go buy my glasses. He's just showing the behind the scenes process. He doesn't directly say okay, these glasses, there's a launch right over here. He rarely does that. But instead, what he's doing is that he's just showing behind the process, which is a lot more powerful because people get to actually see what kind of product will they get delivered and how is it actually made. So they're in the journey, and when Daniel Dalen does drop using this tactic right over here, it absolutely sells out. Now, Lens is 100% using Ecom Flow for their shipping, and this is going to be used as a case study later on, which is building more social proof for his main business, which is Ecom Flow. Now let's break down Daniel Dalen's main business, which is Ecom Flow, which is basically a supply chain for basically just delivering, fast, local, and seamless ecom packages to the customers. Now the prices also are really low with Ecom Flow. $0 pack, pick and pack, $1 shipping is $4.88. So it's like better than the competitors out there. Now with Ecom Flow, if you want to work with them, you just have to fill out like a simple form, which is basically to just get your contact info, business info, niche, product info. And if you're a good fit, obviously you'll be their client. And what I think probably they're doing with this is probably like business partnership between your brand slash product and their ecom services. It's probably like a startup fees plus small revenue share. And basically the way Daniel Dalen is getting clients for this, he's not saying, okay, I have this company, go be a client for mine. But instead, what he's doing is that he's showing behind the scenes of him building this company. How does he actually do the fulfillment, the warehouses, and exactly what kind of service he provides to client and how happy his clients are. So he's indirectly showing the benefits of his company. And most of the people that are watching his videos are actually entrepreneurs that are also in this journey, and that could also include e-com entrepreneurs. So a really diversity of different kind of entrepreneurs, and they see this. Oh, I have an e-commerce brand. I'm having some issues, or my current supplier is not really that good. And this guy, I know his whole process. I know his clients are happy. I like and know and trust him. Let me go apply for it. And then that's basically how Daniel is getting client. Well, even indirectly, without indirectly he's getting clients without directly saying, okay, be my be my client for ecom flow, or this is my company, go sign up for my company if you're in the ecom supply chain. So he's indirectly selling his products through his authentic personal brand, his videos, by sharing behind the scenes process for his product lens and for ecom flow. Now let's talk about the VOB community. Now I think Daniel Dalen probably is going to do something big with this. Now his VOB community is like a free community where you basically get inspired to build in public and network with other people. Now I believe that in the future Daniel Dalen could probably do something with his community. Either he could like do a low ticket community, like probably like a course, resources, weekly calls, forums, discussion topics, meets and greets, like for inspiring entrepreneurs. But I don't think he's probably going to do this, because he did say in his videos that he does not have any plan on selling any type of courses to his audience, but just authentically document his journey. Now, what I think that Daniel Dalen could do is high ticket, like probably like certain revenue, like minimum 20K per month. He's probably just going to help like businesses looking to scale to probably like 100K per month, probably do like some masterminds or some prices, probably just coach businesses on how to build a personal brand, how to scale their own e-com business, to 100K per month. And he does actually do masterminds. He just did a recent mastermind. I'm not sure if it's paid, but I saw in his stories that he did a recent mastermind. So this is what I think that Daniel Dalen could do with his community. Now, since his community, people already trust, like, and know him, they're in there, they're following the Daniel Dalen motto, building in public, and they like Daniel, and they kind of they like his brand, everything like that. So Daniel Dalen, probably in the later on the future, he could probably start like a high ticket, helping businesses scale to 100K per month or build an authentic personal brand. And he's probably gonna make like extra few $1 million a year from his secret WAP community, which could potentially turn into like a high ticket, like basically a lead generator for his high ticket product, if he does that in the future. So this is the whole Daniel Dalen 8-figure personal branding funnel. So exactly how did he make $25 million from his personal brand without selling anything in his videos? Now, if you're an online coach or an info product business and you would like some help implementing a similar funnel to the one that Daniel Dalen had for your own business and for your own personal brand, and you would like some help implementing this funnel into your business, then DM me funnel on my IG, the first link in the description, and I'll personally reach out to you and audit your whole business funnel and see if this funnel would be the right move for you, and if there's a potential partnership opportunity between us to help you implement this funnel into your own business. With that being said, I hope you found value in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.